go back to the 60s, wasn't it? If Barack Obama gets as many cheers tomorrow night as does tonight. Now we go to Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid.
I'm Alice London, and I just arrived from Austin, Texas. What I'm looking for is inspiration. I love the fact that this race is talking about idealism, talking about what the country can be, and I hope to come away very inspired. Texas has been having weekly phone calls, and there's been a lot of excitement, and we've had a listserv and talking online, and the Texas delegation is very fired up. I have the emails of the people who showed up at the Precinct 364 meeting, and I'm going to send out emails and keep them abreast of what's happening from the floor. After the convention, I'm thinking we'll probably all get together and talk about the different things that came up and all the different ideas, and we're going to be putting our battle plan together, and we're ready to fight this one out. There's a lot at stake, and everybody feels this huge sense of urgency.
Please welcome Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid of Nevada.
The history of the last 100 years has been a toxic mix of oil and war. Wars were funded by, impossible without, and usually fought over oil. Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor, the Nazi invasion of Russia, Iraq's invasion of Kuwait, and countless other conflicts have been based in whole or in part on the world's addiction to oil. Even today, dictators and authoritarians from Venezuela to Russia, from Sudan to North Korea, base their actions and their power to oppress their citizens and threaten their neighbors solely on access to or sale of oil on the world market. Since the turn of the new century, those hard facts have come home to America in the most vicious way. Attacked at home by oil-funded terrorists, at war abroad with oil-funded insurgents, threatened in global markets, and faced with acquisition of our industrial base by oil-funded multinationals, we must defend America or face her utter destruction. If we continue to follow this slippery, oil-slick, downward winding path, our citizens will shiver in darkness as our resources hemorrhage to third world thugs whose only virtue is their control of petroleum-based energy. These threats are real. They're immediate and they're potentially overwhelming. And the saddest part, the most terrible irony, is that we finance them every time we pump gas or pay utility bills. The threats are not new, nor is their solution. President Carter warned us about it in the 1970s when he proposed real solutions: conservation, fuel efficiency, and alternative fuels to what he correctly named the moral equivalent of war. His proposals were ridiculed by Republicans who forgot that both Presidents Nixon and Ford had joined him in calling for America's energy independence. That bipartisanship, however, became partisan as this nation entered an era of oil industry dominance when for the 28 years since 1980, except the Clinton presidency, former oil industry executives have been president or vice president of the United States, and indeed for the past 8 years have filled both offices at once. For the past 8 years, the man in the Oval Office has tipped back his hat, over his eyes, kicked back his chair, and snoozed at his desk. Charged with protecting our national interests, he slept on duty while his vice president conspired with oil industry cronies. Tasked with cutting off funding to terrorists, he slept on duty while oil shortages worsened, oil prices soared, and dollars by the ton were delivered to banks in Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. Faced with a new kind of war, this president and his vice president helped their friends the old-fashioned way, through war profiteering, tax cuts for billionaires, and in many cases, out-and-out corruption. They're honest answers to the problems we face, but they call for hard solutions and common sacrifices, the kind of sacrifices that this administration has only asked the American people to bear when it lined the pockets of the obscenely rich. There's an answer, but only if someone will speak truth to power. There's an answer, but only if someone will unite Americans to share common burdens to reach common goals. There's an answer, but only if someone has the values, the virtues, and the vision to lead us through these troubled waters to that beckoning shore. There's an answer. There's a man. It's Barack Obama. Barack Obama is unique, but so are we all. Each of us brings to the world his own strengths and weaknesses. What qualities, then, have earned him our support for the highest executive office? Even his opponents agree. Senator Obama is smart, he's thoughtful. His biography proves he's committed to basic American values like hard work, fair play, and he's honest, and he's forthright. He articulates a vision of energy independence that's comprehensive and based on sound science and sound policies. Science we know will work. These policies include the answers we discussed at our Energy Summit in Las Vegas last week: wind, geothermal, and solar power generation, and the development of efficient power transmission. Even more importantly, they include conservation measures